The Lowlands of Heaven. Chapter 1. Tuesday, September 23rd, 1913. Who is here?
Mother, and other friends who have come to help. We are progressing very well, but are not able to give you all the words we would like to yet, as your mind is not so quiet and passive as we would wish.
Tell me something about your home and occupation.
Our occupation varies according to the needs of those to whom we minister. It is very various, but directed to the uplifting of those who are still in earth life. For instance, it is we who suggested to Rose the creation of a band of people to come to her aid in case of her feeling any danger when she was in the room writing, as we moved her hand, and that band is at present in charge of her case.
Does she not feel their presence at times near her?
She should do so, for they are ever near at call. About our home. It is very bright and beautiful, and our companions from the higher spheres are continually coming to us to cheer us on our upward way.
A thought here came into my mind. Could they see these beings from the higher realms? Or was it with them, as with us? I may say that, here and there, throughout these records, the reader will come upon passages, which are quite obviously answers to my unspoken thoughts, usually beginning yes or no. This being understood, there will be no need for me to indicate them unless any particular instance seems to require it.
Yes, we can see them when they wish that we should do so, but that depends on the state of our advancement, and their own power of service to us.
Now, will you please describe your home, scenery, etc.?
Earth made perfect. But, of course, what you call a fourth dimension does exist here, in a way, and that hinders us in describing it adequately. We have hills and rivers and beautiful forests, and houses, too, and all the work of those who have come before us to make ready. We are at present at work, in our turn, building and ordering for those who must still, for a little while, continue their battle on earth, and, when they come, they will find all things ready, and the feast prepared. We will tell you of a scene which we witnessed not long ago. Yes, a scene in this land of ours. We were told that a ceremony was about to take place, in a certain wide plain not far from our home, at which we might be present. It was the ceremony of initiation of one who had passed the gate of, what we will call prejudice, that is, of prejudice against those who were not of his own particular way of learning, and who was about to go forth into a wider and fuller sphere of usefulness. We went, as we were bidden, and found a great many people arriving from many quarters. Some came in. Why do you hesitate? We are describing quite literally what we saw. Chariots, call them otherwise, if you will. They were drawn by horses, and their drivers seemed to know just what to say to them, for they were not driven with reins like they are on earth, but seemed to go where the drivers willed. Some came on foot and some through space by aerial flight. No, not wings, which are not necessary. When they had all gathered, a circle was made, and one stepped out, the one who was to be initiated, and he wore a robe of orange color, but bright, not like the color as you know it, none of our colors are, but we have to speak to you in our old tongue. The one who had him in his care then took him by the hand, and placed him on a green knoll near the middle of the clear space, and prayed. And then a very beautiful thing occurred. The sky seemed to intensify in color, blue and gold mostly, and out of it descended a veil-like cloud, but which seemed to be made up of fine lacework, and the figures dominating were birds and flowers, not white, but all golden and radiant. This slowly expanded and settled on the two, and then they seemed to become part of it, and it of them, and, as it slowly faded away, it left, both more beautiful than before, permanently beautiful, for both had been advanced into a higher sphere of light. Then we began to sing, and, although I could see no instrument, yet instrumental music blended with our singing and became one with it. It was very beautiful, and served both as a reward to those who had earned it, and a spur to those who had still to tread the path they too had trodden. The music, as I found out later by inquiry, proceeded from a temple grove outside the circle, but, indeed it did not seem to come from any one point. That is a faculty of music here. It seems very often to be part of the atmosphere. Nor was the jewel lacking. When the cloud cleared, or dissolved, we saw it on the brow of the initiate, gold and red, and his guide, who had won already, wore his on his shoulder, left shoulder, and we noticed it had increased in size and brightness. I do not know how this happens, but have an idea, not definite enough to tell you however, and it is difficult to explain what we ourselves understand. When the ceremony was over, we all separated to our own work again. It was longer than I have described and had a very heartening effect on the rest of us. Over the hill, on the farther side of the plain to that where we stood, I noticed a light grow up, and it seemed to us a beautiful form in human shape. I do not think it was an appearance of our Lord, but some great angel master who came to give power, and to do his will. No doubt some there could see more clearly than I, because we are able to see, and also to understand, in proportion to our stage of advancement. Now my boy, just think for a moment. Is this from your mind? Or, through it, as you say? When you sat down to write, as you know, nothing was farther from your thoughts, for we had carefully refrained from impressing you, and yet you went off at once on the account as we influenced you. Is that not so?
Yes, I admit that frankly.
Quite right. And now we will leave, not you, for we are always with you in a way you do not understand, but we will leave this writing, with our prayer and blessing on you and yours. Good night and goodbye, till tomorrow.
Note, when the whole series of messages was finished, I reckoned up and found that the speed had been maintained at an average rate of 24 words a minute. On 2 occasions only had I any idea what subject was to be treated. That was when the message had obviously been left uncompleted. At other times, I had fully expected a certain subject to be taken, but, on taking up my pencil, the stream of thought went off in an altogether different direction.